Good Saturday morning, everybody. Welcome into the Saturday morning edition of the Daily Juice podcast. My name is Matt Perrault. You guys can follow me on Twitter at SportsTalkMatt. Here on BettingPros.com. Always being brought to you by BetMGM. YouTube for the video, audio, wherever you get your audio podcasts. And the offer, $10 to win $150 any event. Promo code JUICE150 at BetMGM and BetMGM.com. Promo code JUICE150, $10, $150 in any event, including college football coming up here today. All right, so Discord bet will be had today, 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, 11 p.m. a.m. Eastern time. We will have the Discord chat going on a Saturday. You guys, what are we, 6-3 now, I think, right? I don't know. My brain's so fried after everything going on. I ended my radio show yesterday, and just a lot of craziness. It's been a very crazy week. But, yeah, so Discord channel, bet, conversation, 8 o'clock in the morning Pacific time, 11 a.m. Eastern time for the bet available to you guys for a crowdsourcing bet. We got it right last week, right? You guys will correct me if I'm wrong, but I think we got it right last week, and we'll do that. Then we have the circa million chat conversation, 1 in 4 last week for the Daily Juice team, but we didn't talk it out. That was because everybody was busy, so I hope everybody can be there for this week because we didn't talk it out. We had our worst week when we just went with the consensus. So got to talk it out. Got to have some arguments. Got to have conversations about what to play, what not to play. So hopefully everybody can be available for us coming up here for the Daily Juice podcast. Discord chat, that will happen at 3 o'clock Eastern time, noon Pacific time, coming up today on a Saturday. Okay, so mark those down in the Discord channel, bettingpros.com/chat to get in, or the link is underneath me here on YouTube to get into the Discord channel. All right, so we went to 3-0 in the World Series on sides. We're perfect betting on which side, which team's going to win the World Series. I don't know what to do tonight. I'm going to leave it out kind of hanging here. I don't know what to do with it. We may come back with a full unit or a half unit. I don't know. I probably won't play the total. Zach Greinke's going. It's minus 105 on both sides. Zach Greinke's going for the Astros. Yee. I lean Astros, but I don't know. More on that later during the day on the Discord channel. We'll get to that coming up a little bit later on. But over didn't hit, and then the experiment with the Vegas Golden Knights, 8 consecutive games, all 8 games for Vegas. A goal has been scored in the first 10 minutes. Bet that again. Keep betting that until it cashes, okay? It's going to be plus money. It was plus 170. Minus 170 rather. Minus 170, and it cashed, okay? So it's ridiculous for goals. 8 games, 8 goals in the first 10 minutes for the Vegas Golden Knights. They were up 4-1. They blew it. They won it in a shootout 5-4 against Anaheim, but kind of a crazy thing. So watch that for the Vegas Golden Knights. It's a crazy trend for them. Goals being scored very quickly. Any goal being scored very quickly. So I would come back and bet that again. It's going to be even more plus money, probably plus 160, plus 170 on the no. So we'll just keep on betting. Look, somebody asked me, like, Matt, do you often bet with trends like that or against trends? Here's my philosophy on that. If you've been in on the trend early, like after 2 games, if we started betting goal in the first 10 minutes and we're on like the 4th or 5th time, keep on betting it because when it loses, it won't matter because you've been so profitable on it. Fading it, if you get involved with it late, you fade it until it doesn't hit, and it won't hit at some point. Okay, 9-0. Really unlikely it goes 9-0 next time. So I think it would be smart to come back and fade it next time the Golden Knights play. To jump into that, I haven't seen the schedule. I don't think they play today, but I'm not sure about that. Okay, sorry, I'm just watching the end of this Nevada game because I laid 19 points with Nevada personally. So hopefully they're up by 24 right now. So hopefully they cash that, and I'll end the night on a winning night. So it's good. Okay, so here's where I'm going today. I've got 3 bets for you. I've got a bunch of personal plays going on this day today, in case you guys care. I mean, I got a bunch of things that I'll talk about a little bit, but let's talk about where I am officially, okay? 3 bets for you guys here for college football, all for 1 unit. Let's get into it here. Let's get into the Michigan State game, the first game of the day, okay? Here we are with 2 arch rivals. Total is 51. We've got a team in Michigan, 3-4 to the over. Michigan State, 3-4 to the over, okay? Last 2 games, Michigan State have gone under. Last one for Michigan went under. 51.5 against Northwestern. They won 33-7. Game went under. Against Nebraska, they won 32-29. The game went over 50.5. Before that, against Wisconsin, 43.5. They scored 38 points, nearly got to the total themselves in that game. over by 11.5 points. For Michigan State against Indiana, 20-15, game goes under by 13.5 points, 48.5. Against Rutgers, game goes under by 6 points, 31-13 the final of a total of 50. Total's 51. Fox Sports is going to be there. It is the big game, big noon kickoff Eastern time, 9 a.m. Pacific time, right? How do we have a total of 51? Like, what? This is a Big Ten game. Iowa, Wisconsin's total is 36.5. These are two running football teams. These two teams want to run the football. I don't understand this, okay? I get it that the offenses are averaging 37 and 33 points per game. Okay, but the defenses are averaging 14.3 and 19.5. Yards per play, 4.6 and 4.8. Yards per rush, 3.2 and 3.5. These are all top 50 stats here for Michigan and Michigan State, okay? Defensively, pass-wise, 6.2, 14th best. 6.3, 18th best. Like, what are we doing here? This is a Big Ten game. 51 points? We're going under. 1 unit under. Michigan State. Run the football. Use your power. Play keep away. Burn the clock. Play Big Ten football. 23-20 type of game here. I'm going to predict under 51 for Michigan State here for 1 full unit. On the other side, we're going Texas and Baylor. Baylor, 5-2 to the over. Texas, 4-3 to the over. All right? We've got a BYU game for Baylor. 38-24, went over by 9.5 points. Total was 52.5. West Virginia, 45. Well, they scored 45 themselves. 45-20. Game goes over by 20 points. Oklahoma State, that game was 24-14. That was weird, but that snapped a streak of 3 straight games where it went over with 53.5, 48.5, and 46.5, going over by 14, 3.5, and 19.5 for Baylor. Last game against Oklahoma State for Texas, same thing. Lower scoring game than we thought, but more to do with Oklahoma State than Texas. 32-24, the win for Oklahoma State. Loss for Texas. Game went under by 5 points. Before that, against Oklahoma, 55-48, the loss to Oklahoma, but it goes over by 37.5 points. Against TCU, it stayed under by 6.5 points, but that snapped a streak of 57.5, 51.5, and 63 that all went over, including Texas Tech, went over by 42 points. Rice over by 6.5 points and 3.5 points going over for the Arkansas game for Texas and Baylor, okay? I'm going to be personally on Texas money line, okay? I'm not going to take the plus 2.5. I'm going to take Texas and Bijan Robinson to run the ball like crazy, big plays, and to win this game outright. But the official play for 1 unit is I'm going Texas and Baylor over. We're going over 61 points for Texas and Baylor. Over 61, as I think both these teams are going to move the football. Texas' defense is not good. 6.1 yards per play. That's 101st in college football. 5.2 yards per rush. That's 112th in college football. 7.4 yards per pass play. That's 70th in college football. Texas is not good, man. But offensively, Texas can move the ball. 6.7 yards per play. That's 10th best in the country. 5.6 yards per rush. That's 8th best in the country. 9 yards per pass play. That's 14th best in the country. Texas can move the ball. Baylor's defense is okay. Middle of the pack, decent defense, not outstanding. Texas can move the ball on them. Texas can throw the ball on them. Texas can run the ball on them, and Baylor will do the same. We're going over 61, Texas and Baylor for 1 unit, for official play. I am on Texas money line. However, that is also going to be an ad for Texas on the money line. And then one more play to jump in here, and this may be a little bit controversial, but Bo Nix's career at Jordan-Hare Stadium, 20 touchdowns, 2 interceptions, a 62.5 career pass percentage, a guy who has run the ball much better. He's got 9 touchdowns at home versus 7 touchdowns on the road. He throws 11 picks on the road to 2 at home. Just 12 touchdowns on the road to 20 at home, and a completion percentage of 56.2 on the road to 62.5. Okay, here we are with Ole Miss coming in. Line opened at 1, was bet up to 3, where it has stopped and stayed. Ole Miss is coming to Jordan-Hare off of a hellacious schedule. At Alabama, home for Arkansas, at Tennessee, home for LSU, and at Auburn. Those 5 games, this is the last game here for Ole Miss. Ole Miss is 1-7 straight up at Jordan-Hare since 2004. They have covered consistently, however, being there at Jordan-Hare Stadium. But the problem is Auburn's coming off a bye, and Auburn gets a chance to really look back, reassess as to where they are. And I don't like this I don't like this defense at all for Ole Miss. I think they're tired. I think, look, Auburn owns the all-time series, 34-10 all-time. They've won the last 5 meetings here. The home team, though, is 0-7 against the spread in this series. The last time Auburn lost to Ole Miss at home was back in 2015. Last year, they won 35-28 on the road. Back in 2019, they won at Jordan-Hare Stadium 20-14. Line was 19, so Ole Miss covered, but this is a small number, a small line. I love Matt Perrault as much as everybody else, but I just think Ole Miss is tired. They've played so many games, so many big games in the SEC. Auburn's rested. Auburn's have had a bye week. I think it's a big deal here in this week to have the chance to kind of get back, new head coach, figure out what to do, how to attack this Ole Miss offense. Total of 66.5 because it's Ole Miss. I would lean towards the under in this game. I think Tank Bigsby and Bo Nix, give me Auburn, laying 3, Auburn -3 against Ole Miss for 1 full unit. All right? So 3 plays for us officially here on a Saturday. We've got the Discord bet for a half a unit and a baseball bet for a half a unit, all coming up here today that I will get involved with here for the Daily Juice podcast. All right? So I will talk to you coming up for the Discord channel conversation at 8 a.m. Pacific, 11 a.m. Eastern. We'll do that. And then later in the Discord channel, as we get towards the closer to the game, I'll give you a baseball bet. Right now, I lean Astros, but man, Zach Greinke, whoa, I don't know. Maybe it's Astros. Maybe it's Braves first 5 that I'll get involved with. I don't know yet, but we will have a baseball bet coming up for the World Series for Game 4 of the World Series later on today, but that's after we do the Discord bet, and we get the college football bets going here as well. If you're curious about my other plays, I'm going to watch the Georgia game. If this number goes back above 14 at 14.5, I will take Florida at 14.5, but right now I would lean towards Georgia and taking Georgia -14. I'm kind of in between on that. And then I am very close to taking the over for Notre Dame and North Carolina at 62.5. I think the over is the play in that game. I also think the North Carolina might hang around at +3.5. I think North Carolina might be around as well. I think look out for Sam Howell coming in here. It's just I don't think Carolina can stop anybody, and I don't think Notre Dame's going to get stopped at all. And I think Notre Dame's going to have a tough time. Without Kyle Hamilton playing, I think you're going to see a big passing attack for North Carolina. So over 62.5, I'm on that personally. I'm on Texas over. I'm on Texas money line. But the 3 official plays here for me, under 51. Under 51 for Michigan State, over 61 for Texas and Baylor, and Auburn -3 for 3 units, 3 bets here for a college football Saturday. Talk to you for the Discord chat conversation later on today. It's the Daily Juice podcast every morning right here on BettingPros.com, always being brought to you by BetMGM.